So I feel like I have been on Apetamin for a consistent amount of time where I can actually tell you what it's like fully, all condensed in like one video. Um, I do want to say it does work. You're gonna gain some sort of weight with it. When I first started, it was in September. So I've been on Apetamin from September 2019 through the end of December of 2019, and I've taken it on and off throughout that time span. Um, and in September, I knew that all these weight gaining things and weight gaining supplements never worked for me in the past. I was so underweight that no matter what I ate, there was no weight gain ever happening. It didn't really matter how many calories I ate. I've been to various doctors and they can't figure out why I wasn't able to put on any sort of weight. I was just so extremely thin. Um, and I didn't know why, and nobody really knew why. So I even knew when going into taking a Apetamin, even though all these people got such great results so fast, I knew for sure it wasn't going to work like that for me, and it might put on some weight rather than the experience that everybody else was getting. Um, but from September 2019 to December 2019, I was able to gain up to 15 pounds. It came on really quick. The last like 5 pounds that I did put on, I was, I'd say it almost like plateaued. I was struggling. It didn't matter what I ate throughout the day, even if I doubled what I was eating um, the day before and I just kept doubling everything. Like I still wasn't really gaining that weight as fast as I was in the beginning. Um, I plateaued just about at 100 pounds, and I've been taking it for over a month now and still have not been able to gain past that. So I've kind of accepted, like, okay, Apetamin got me to 100, which is great because I started out in September, I was 87.3 pounds. So that's crazy because, like, that's so thin. I'll post a picture. It's really embarrassing, but I'll post a picture of what I was. Um, So I ended up ordering it. And when you order it, I'm going to link the site below, which is a legitimate site. This is the one I've used for months. What you do is you order it, and one box equals 1 week. So let's say the box is $35. You order your box. You can also order in bulk, and then the price goes down a little bit if you do that. But let's say you order a box and they have a confirmation page that pops up, and it was a little sketchy at the time, so I was like hesitant to do it. But they give you a confirmation number for your order. What you do is you text this site through a text message, and you put in the order number, and then you press send as a text message. Then after that, you put the amount, let's say it was $35, so you put the amount in through Apple Pay, and then you text that. Then eventually you'll get a confirmation email like that day or the next day saying that it was shipped. And that's when they'll actually ship it. Once they get that money with the order number, that's when they'll ship it. It's a legitimate site. They're not going to take your money. They're not going to empty your bank account, and they're not going to just not send the Apetamin. But it is a little weird how they do it. I know a lot of other people who I've talked to who've messaged me said like, oh, I wonder like, do you have like an African site or like an African store around your area? And like I wouldn't know, so I just use the online ones, and this online one seemed to work for me the best. So it comes in a bottle like this. Sometimes there is duct tape. A few of the times there's been duct tape around the cap, but that's because when I was listening to reviews, the reviews are a little they're a little weird. Some say like depending on where you order it from, the bottles will leak. So I think it was just because sometimes the bottles get a little leaky or like they get super sticky. But what you do is one box equals 1 week, so it's a lot of money. But it comes in a cap, and there's 3 meals a day that you have to eat. So before each meal, I'd say about 15 minutes before, You're going to take 10 milliliters, which is like half of this. You pour it in, you take your little shot. It tastes like NyQuil. It does not taste bad. Then about 15 minutes later, you eat, and then after you eat, you should feel a little bit full, and you should notice that you ate more and didn't get hungry, didn't get full as easily. You do that 3 times a day, 15 minutes before each meal, and that's what they tell you to do. I know people on YouTube who have taken not 10 milliliters, but 15. I didn't do that because I don't know how this affects like your liver, which is why I was more hesitant about it, but I haven't had any side effects and I've been fine. But I did take the 10 milliliters 3 times a day. After that, you should feel like you ate more food. I noticed that I was finishing, like when I went to a restaurant, I finished my plate. Like I had no leftovers, I had no doggy bags, nothing. Like you would really finish your food and like you're wondering where it went because I'm like really tiny, so I'm like, wow, I ate a lot of food. So I did that on and off for the last few months. Now, I gained weight really quickly when I started it. I gained about the first 7 pounds. I think that was like a week and a half. I gained 7 pounds, something like that. And like you saw it. So my stomach was bloated. You couldn't see my hip bones. And you for sure, like you saw it in my legs the most. I definitely gained weight in like my legs and my butt a little bit. Um, I couldn't get my pants on. My friends would say that like you can definitely see it in my thighs. So I did gain a lot of weight in the beginning. Um, After that, it was like slower and a lot harder to gain the weight. I don't know if this is because it's just me with my body the way it is and how hard it is for me to gain weight, but that's just what I've experienced. I've plateaued, so I noticed once I reached a certain weight, I did a month and a half more of trying to gain weight and I wouldn't gain any more. I would just fluctuate around 100 pounds, and that's been it for me. I stopped taking Apetamin now because I've realized paying like $40 a week and not gaining any weight, maybe my weight really has plateaued and this is where Apetamin is going to stop helping me at. Which is perfectly fine for me because September 2019, I weighed around like 86, 87 pounds, and then December, January 2019, 2020, I'm just about 100 pounds. I fluctuate a little bit, and I think I'm just a little bit under right now. But that's where my weight is plateaued. When I noticed that I was having a difficulty time gaining the weight, I ordered something that somebody told me about, the Serious Mass Gainer, which is, I know there's like reviews about all over YouTube with the Apetamin too. And I got excited basically about a bucket of powder that was overpriced. Um, but I got excited because it says you either mix it with like milk or water, but it says that it's 1250 extra calories if you drink a serving, if you mix it with water, and then 1640 extra calories if you mix it with milk. So I was really excited because I was like, on top of what I've been eating, this will help me that much more. Um, this is empty, and I still didn't really gain anything from what I was when I started struggling putting on more of the weight. Um, but I mean, it was definitely worth a shot, and it's actually really good. It doesn't taste bad at all. I actually ended up liking it and wanting to take it rather than just taking it for weight gain. Um, but yeah, I don't think it personally worked for me. Um, right now, I'm fluctuating between like 97 to 100 pounds every day. So I know the Apetamin further isn't working for me. Maybe my body just got used to it, or maybe this is just where Apetamin's going to stop helping me. So I've been, I'm going to stop for a while. And if I start to lose a lot of weight and I can't keep on the weight that I did gain from Apetamin, I'm going to probably pick it back up and see, maybe give my body a break from it and maybe it'll help me again. Um, but I've been going to the gym, so I'm hoping to gain quite a bit of mass from like lifting and stuff. And I think I have definitely gained some muscle in my legs from all of that. So right now I think I'm going to really strictly do the gym. Of course, I'm going to try to eat higher amount of calories, but I'm not going to use Apetamin to help me do that. I will post pictures of like where I was at. So September was obviously my lowest weight. September I weighed, it was so low, I was 86, and you can definitely tell where like my weight was at, and that was my lowest. It's terrifying pictures of like anorexic looking, and that was me with eating my normal caloric diets and junk food, but I just couldn't put weight on. So now you can definitely tell like from that picture that I've gained weight in my arms a little bit, my legs for sure you can tell, like in my thighs you can tell, like you can't see my ribs sticking out as much anymore, and I was able to really tell from my spine. So normally like you take an average person and they bend over, and I mean you can't really see their spine, but somebody who's on the thinner side you can actually see it stick out. I was at the point where I was so thin that you can see my spine standing up, so you were able to count like the vertebrae with like the indents in my back. um, I've been basing a lot of my weight off of that. So now if I do that, you can't really see my spine anymore, which is crazy because I've always had that. Um, and then I look, if I like kind of arch my back, um, you can't see it stick out to the extent where it did before. You see a little bit, but it's nowhere near where it was in September when I was my lowest weight then. So Apetamin does work. I gained within a few months 10 to 15 pounds, and it does work. So if you're thinking about it and if you're having trouble or if you're just self-conscious about how skinny you are, do it because you will put on the weight. I'm using other methods because I knew this might not work for me, um, which it worked a lot more than I thought. But I've taken on like going to the gym, so I got a trainer for that. I've also switched birth control methods. So I just took the second dose. It's a shot called Depo-Provera, and that's supposed to put on a lot of weight. Everybody who's taken it says you gain a massive amount of weight, so my doctor said it might be a good idea for me to go on that and just see if I gain weight. So they say after the second shot, you should see some weight gain. So I think I got my second shot last week. Um, so I'll see if I gain any weight from that. But right now I'm really strictly doing the gym, and we'll see if the Depo-Provera works or not. But that's where I'm at. If you think about getting Apetamin, I definitely think you should. Just make sure that you have enough money and enough food around you because you need to make sure you eat more. If you don't have food around you all the time, it's not going to work. Um, so make sure you have food, you have the money to do so, and make sure you have a bottle because one bottle lasts about a week. So if you order it, you take your bottle, it's the end of the week, and you realize you're running out, you can't order it then. You kind of need it in advance so you don't have like a space in between of where you're not taking the Apetamin in between those weeks. So definitely just make sure that you have an extra bottle. I found it beneficial to order more of like the bulk ones, so I would order like 2 or 3 bottles at a time, and then by the end of the second week when I'm taking my last bottle for the next week I'd order it again, so I'd have them consistently throughout. um, but yeah, you can definitely tell I've gained some weight. We'll see if I start it up maybe back in a few weeks when my body either loses this weight if I can't keep it on, or just to see if I can give my body a break and then go back on it, and maybe it'll work again. So we'll